welcome along to the Friday Shout. Episode 2.
Thanks for having me again.
Well, I'm not really having you because you're on every episode, you're the co-host.
That is true.
And that's the way that I want it. Rupert, I'd like to start today. Big episode, the last episode, obviously.
It was, yeah.
We put out
nice.
there. We've got a bit of feedback, so I just got a bit of a letter.
Oh, yeah, a few people wrote in, didn't they?
This is a real letter.
Yep.
It came in the mail. Friday Shout, head offices. And it reads, Dear Chip and Rupert, I want to congratulate and thank you both for your new show, The Friday Shout. Finally, a real estate show in New Zealand that cuts through the noise of conservative commentators through an innovative medium that provides fresh perspective and, of course, some lol moments. I think they're picking up on the humour of the show. Whilst beer is not my particular choice for my Friday Shout, quite clever how they've used the title of the show and the letter, I like that. Your charismatic review of the classic Kiwi pastime, referring to drinking, is matched only by your high regard and professionalism and style. I think they, so in brackets here it says fashionistas.
Just me.
No, collectively. Signed off with a 10 out of 10. Wowee, neato gang.
Was that a survey 10 out of 10 or just
I think that's I don't know if it was a survey. It's probably their own kind of rating there. And that's actually from your mum. So nice. So I just want to give a big first shout out, Sue Mills.
Oh,
number one fan. The only person that actually watched the first
So
episode.
she actually emailed that to you?
Well, yeah, she emailed it and I may have changed a few things.
Fantastic. Good rating, though. Good 10
out of 10, though. It's great
fantastic.
for the show, especially from mum, number one fan.
Yeah.
Hey, as with always, we open up with a few beers. And
First sponsor.
Yeah. You know, when you're kicking goals at school, right? Yeah. And I used to be a bit of a toe hacker. You would have been on the side of the foot. I mean, you're a footy
I was the first five, yeah.
Can you kick off your left?
Yeah.
Are you right-handed?
Go both ways.
That's what I like to hear. When you kick a goal at school and, you get that purler, a little bit of wind maybe. I'm talking rugby goals, but you'd be a soccer goal, football goal. It's the same thing. Yeah. And I really think we kicked a goal on the first episode because, as you said, now we have a beer sponsor. Who are we drinking today?
We are drinking the Kaiser Brothers Brewery.
And big shout out, big Friday shout out to the Kaiser Brothers Brewery.
Big bottles, aren't they?
Well, we're talking
quarts.
Two standees.
I think the first one we're going to go for here, Chip, is the Tangerine Dream.
You're going Tangerine Dream?
Yeah, we're going to go for Tangerine.
I'm actually.
What are you going to go for?
I'm actually the Weissen or the Weissen, and that's a wheat beer, crafty, 5%.
Do you want me to open?
Good for you. And I just wanted to say once again, a big thank you to the boys from Geeson, actually, who Geeson Wines.
We actually sampled these a couple of days ago. Beautiful beers, aren't they?
Absolutely beautiful beer. Did you ever drink out of a Stein back in your uni days?
Stein?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
You know the old Steins?
Did in Germany.
Been to Germany?
Yeah.
Lovely place?
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice people?
Good. Yeah, very nice people.
Don't want to get into that too much.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, so episode 2, look, a little bit of feedback on episode 1.
Yep.
Obviously, when you've been in real estate for a long time, and we mentioned this on the past show, you've been in real estate now, what is it, 10 years, 12 years?
Yeah, 10 years, yeah, great, yep.
And I'm actually coming up on my 6th year.
6 years, congratulations.
6 years in real estate. But it is one of those things, terminology. We obviously talking last week, not only about first-time home buyers, but why it was good to buy a house from an investment point of view as well. We threw around a lot of terms last week, and a little bit of the feedback came back with love the show.
Yep.
Obviously 10 out of 10. But maybe we could do an episode where we break it down for those that aren't that, fluent in the real estate terminologies. Maybe more of a back to basics.
Back to basics kind of approach there. Because we had a bit of different feedback as well. People kind of wanted to go down the the investment road, developments, but we thought we'd just start with just back to basics.
And that's kind of going to be the theme for this show, this show here. So
fantastic.
I thought it was a fantastic. Well, you actually mentioned it to me. It's actually your idea, the whole thing.
Great.
But I'm supporting it.
Well, where do we start in terms of a back to basics kind of? We're just looking at buying your first house. We'll take it back 10 years ago. Well, buying your first house, but let's look at the process through there from start to finish, buying your first home, because a lot of people just don't know anything about buying a house. That's what a lot of the feedback was. They didn't want to ask the questions. So let's just throw it out there. Let's start the very first kind of stage of buying.
Well, the question I posed to you there is, so I've been renting for a while.
Yep.
I'm Chip the renter.
Yep.
paying someone's mortgage off. I've had enough.
You've had enough, yep.
I've been watching TV.
Fantastic.
Banks have been throwing, low interest rates down my throat. Now's the time. I've been saving up. I think I've got a deposit. I don't know if I've got a deposit. What's the first thing I need to do before I start searching for that dream home of mine?
Well, like we said last week, but the first thing you need to do is just straight to a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Got to find
broker or bank?
Broker.
Broker.
Yeah.
And we did isolate that last week or in the last show.
So we won't get into reasons why not to go bank
much.
or brokers, but I think definitely straight to your broker. The first thing you got to kind of realise is how much you can spend.
I mean, that's what you got to ascertain. How much can you afford?
You don't want to be walking into your $750,000 dream house and find out you only can borrow $50,000, which won't buy your house.
Yeah.
But you need to ascertain how much you want to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once you... So, you how do you shop around for brokers? I mean, obviously we don't want to throw...
We don't want to throw too many shout-outs to one broker, but
exactly.
You can go on Google, you can find some great brokers, probably Home Loan Shop. Best.
I mean, and you mentioned Google. I mean, and now today, more than ever, it's got to be an easier process.
It
Surely.
does. Yeah, it does. You can go on any normal bank website as well, and you can put in your deposit details. Go on Westpac, ANZ, and you can put in your deposit.
You're talking about the calculator?
Yeah, calculator. Easy.
See, that's a handy tool, isn't it? What can I afford? What am I going to be paying in interest? What kind of deposit do you have?
I mean, if you're a first home buyer, you can just look at probably around 10%.
Yeah.
Work off that. If you've got KiwiSaver, definitely 10%. Put in your 10% deposit and then put in the price you want to pay.
Yeah.
And then it can kind of tell you how much your mortgage is going to be, see if you can actually afford it.
Would you say if you are a renter, the best way to base that is to say, well, look, what you're spending in rent at the moment, and you might be part of a flat, so you might have to go a little bit above that because if you're buying it by yourself, if you're a couple and you've been renting, it's obviously going to differ for different people. But do you want to stay around, if it's a first-time home, do you want to stay around that rental that you're spending in terms of what your mortgage repayments are going to be?
Yeah, well, you want it to be like for like. You don't want to be stretching yourself too far. I mean, hey, that's up to everyone if they want to eat spaghetti on toast the rest of their life just to pay for their first home. But I think it's nice just to be at that same kind of level.
Yeah.
So you feel comfortable. And at the moment as well, with the interest rates the way they are, you can be almost under what you're paying for rent. So.
Yeah. As opposed to, as we said, a few years back where it would have been kind of the opposite.
Would have been hit.
Okay, so I've gone to my broker, I've gone to my bank, and they've said to me, Chip, congratulations. You've got that magic letter, the pre-approval.
500,000.
Yeah, let's say 500,000. Great round figure there. So what's the next stage? I mean, now I've gone, okay, bank's given me this. I'm interested in buying a house, and it's an overwhelming process. Where do I go? Where do I look? What do I do? Do I just call up an agency? Do I go online and start calling?
You've got agencies there. You've got people who say you need an agent to work with.
Yep.
You need to go into a good agency. You need to start looking at all the websites that the agents have.
Yep.
TradeMe.co.nz. This is coming from a real estate agent too. So you just straight to TradeMe.co.nz. Every single agency in New Zealand.
Yep.
Okay. Bar one or two that don't list enough properties anyway. All on TradeMe.
Wowza.
Yeah, they're all on TradeMe.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is, if you got your 500,000, you want to be in a specific suburb, you just log in, put the suburb in there, you put your price in 400 to 550. Hey, we'll try to get the 550 for 500, like everyone does in life. Okay, put it in there. You get your list. There's your houses. It's as easy as that. You don't need to call an agent anymore. You don't need to look on specific real estate company websites. They're all bundled there together for you.
Absolutely.
Easy as that.
I like that. I'm going to use that later on. I want to come back to that. There's something that's growing out of that in my brain. But what I do want to talk about is the age-old saying, location, location, location. How important is location in terms of when you are looking for a property? How important is today? Because location was everything back in the day.
Yeah.
Everyone talked about, you got to, if you don't buy in a good location,
yeah.
But now, the front page of the Hut News here in the Lower Hut a few weeks back, had an article on how Nainai is now a super suburb and prices are going up, and
Nainai being.
Well, back in the day, there were certain suburbs. I'm not isolating Nainai, but I'm just saying there were certain suburbs.
One
back
of the
in
not
day.
so desirable areas in terms of buying in the Wellington region.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, how important today is location?
Yep.
In today's market, and is it something that you should be thinking about before you go and spend that 500,000?
Yeah, location is always important, Chip. You've got areas in every market. Say you look in Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington, wherever you look in New Zealand, you've got suburbs in those areas that you've got good areas and you've got bad areas, and then in the bad areas as well, you don't want to be buying on the worst street in the worst area.
Yep.
Okay. But I think that going back 3 generations or 2 generations, people were very much location. You've got to be in these specific suburbs.
Yep.
But now it's interesting, especially in Wellington and in Auckland, some of the worst areas that no one ever wanted to buy in, and they said, don't ever buy an investment there, don't buy a home there, have gone up 30-40% fastest that any suburb's ever
Yeah.
gone up.
Yeah. For sure.
In terms of capital gains, I'm not a big believer in capital gains in terms of investments in first homes.
Correct.
But that kind of age-old thing of don't buy in the worst areas.
Yeah.
We call them worst areas in terms of capital gains. That's what people say.
Yeah.
I think it's not that good.
So I mean, so to summarise that, have an open mind. Have an open mind.
You've got to have an open mind where
because. And I think that's, I mean, we're not trying to label this too much as an advice show, as more of a conversation piece. But one of the pieces of advice that I would give to those looking for their first home is, and we hear it all the time, have you got anything in this area or in this area? And we're in a very, very different market at the moment, a very growing market in the Wellington region. And it's sad, but it's true. People are getting priced out of those specific locations. People with the 500,000 that we're talking about coming in and say, for example, going into, like a Brooklyn in Wellington or an Island Bay in Wellington or a Newtown in Wellington. And if you were in Lower Hutt, like even central Lower Hutt, Petone, for example, it'd be very, very hard to get into the marketplace.
Imagine Ponsonby or Remuera. Imagine that.
Well, exactly, and that's a good point as well. So let's say, okay, you got your pre-approval. Now you're going on to Trade Me, and you're going through Trade Me. Be more generic around location and be open-minded is kind of what I'm getting across there.
Yeah. I bought my first home in an area that was undesirable in terms of capital gains. Best house I've ever had, best neighbours I've ever had, all down-to-earth people.
Absolutely.
Loved them to bits. Went around to their house for Christmas. It was beautiful.
So you found your house, obviously, and you've been looking around, you're pre-approved. And look, let's just be clear as well about where we're going in the direction of this show, because we did do first-time home buyers on the first show.
Yeah.
We don't
specifically
because one of the things you touched on before as well is when you said, like when you bought your first home, and we've spoken about that previously. But we're also talking very relative to the fact that within the last 10 years, the real estate industry really has changed.
Yeah, for sure.
The offers have changed. The sales and purchase agreements have changed. The listing agreements have changed. There's been a lot of change in terms of the marketing side of things. I mean, Trade Me now, as you said, Trade Me is the place to go. You've got more technology now,
and
in
it's
terms
more.
of.
Sorry, Kay.
No, it's okay.
It's just as well as in terms of maybe next week or the week after, we're going to get into some quite complex real estate conversations.
Yeah,
we're just going back to basics. I don't want to reiterate that again, but
back to basics.
So as you're saying, we've found the house.
Yeah.
In the suburb that you want. What do you do next, Joe? I'm asking you the question.
Well, maybe. Well, after you've got your pre-approval, you've gone and you've done. I would always recommend you get a shortlist. Okay, nice little shortlist. Again, keeping that open mind around around location, and then after that, you got to go view some properties. You got to go get in there. You got to go do some open homes. You got to go do some private viewings.
All I'd suggest, we'll run through this quite quickly, but all I'd suggest is just going around. Say you get 10 properties.
Yep.
Get your 10 properties, as you said, shortlist. Go to 10, shortlist 2 or 3. Then go by appointment with the agent, so you can really get a feel for the property.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Question, not to interject.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Go to an open home. I like it.
Yep.
Should you book another appointment after that?
Yep.
With the agent before you make an offer?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you definitely should see the property at least 2 times.
Yes.
People walk into houses and they buy them after 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't buy a pair of shoes that fast. Well, yeah, sometimes I would. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. You say you're going to spend $500,000. It's good to see it 2 or 3 times to make sure
you don't want to go in there once and just see it for face value.
No.
Because you might have missed a few things.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question. What are the things you should be looking at? I know you've bought a few houses in your time. What are the things you should be looking at? I mean, before I was a real estate agent, it was renowned that I have quite a good eye for buildings.
I'll bet you didn't.
No, I don't. I'm horrible when it comes to buildings. But you've obviously seen quite a few. You got Matty B there.
And I think
what do you look for? What do you go to the open home?
Yeah, I think the thing to do as well is we take ourselves back to the mindset 10 years ago. Haven't seen many. What do you do? Because I don't think it's going to be much value here, Chip. If we sit here and I say, look at the cladding, look at the roof, look at the piles, look at this. We could be here for 4 hours talking about the stuff, and then people are just going to go, I'm so confused, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'd suggest you do on your first home.
Basics.
Okay, is look at it. Maybe get a friend around who's a builder. Okay, maybe not your parents. Go back episode 1. But
if you haven't seen episode 1, we don't.
Yeah, a lot of real estate agents will say, hey, it's very good. The market's really great, so you need to go in cash unconditional, which means no conditions.
Yeah.
And by conditions, I mean making an offer of say $500,000.
Yeah.
On the basis that you can do a building report, you can do your finance.
Yeah.
Okay, just find out if you can get finance for sure. Even though you might have a pre-approval, sometimes the banks will want to know what house you're buying.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to do your title search and you want to do your LIM report.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, instead of getting all the advice in the world around the home, put in your offer, secure it at a certain price with those 4 conditions. So I'll just repeat them. So it's a building report.
Yep.
Means your builder can come around.
So if you guys have got pen and paper at home, and you're watching this and you're going, how do I put in an offer?
Yeah.
Let's just summarise.
Yeah.
First, you go to open home, if you've been to the open home, or a private inspection, view it twice. Once you're happy, you've got your pre-approval letter. I mean, the bank's going to want you to probably, in terms of their lending criteria anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to want you to come through some of these. Now we're getting into putting forward an offer. How do I do that? We're talking about due diligence.
Yep.
Just to summarise, due diligence is a very legal term. But there are some conditions that you're talking
Just
about
doing
here.
your groundwork, yeah.
And it's like you said in the first episode, it's about trust.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't trust me to come and do,
No. So that's why building report,
Yeah.
finance condition, limb report, and title search. Those four.
Just to not to stop, limb report.
Yeah.
We're talking about a land information memorandum.
Yes.
That was good. It was kind of synced up.
It was, yeah.
What's a land information memorandum? Why should I get one?
Oh, it's a great question. You should definitely get one. Okay, so you got a house that may have been 80 square metres back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, a land information memorandum
Yeah.
is going to be a council document that comes. Okay, so you pay
A
for that.
report almost.
A report.
Yeah.
It'll come from them. It'll tell you if there's any extensions done on the property.
Yeah.
And it'll pretty much tell you around the whole environment around your house,
Like
how
the
it affects the
environment.
property,
Great.
and how the property affects the environment.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about earthquake zones, you're talking about flood zones, you're talking about whether the consents were issued.
Subdivision, the original subdivision, the deeds.
Maybe you might have a next door neighbour looking to do a 55 lot subdivision. That's lodged.
Correct.
That will be in there. Okay,
Fantastic.
so it's very important you do that. And if you do those basic four things, you're going to be really setting yourself up for a safe purchase.
Yeah.
And I always recommend getting a professional builder to do a building inspection.
Yeah.
Habit House Inspection of
Yeah.
Wellington, fantastic company.
Checking out Habit.
Yeah, they should definitely just get that.
Yeah.
Just because as a first time buyer, you just want to have a safe purchase. That's the whole.
Well, first, second, third, fourth, fifth time home buyer. That's good
No,
advice
yeah,
for
it is,
all
it is.
parties, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
do those checks. Do those checks because a lot of people as well, they come in and they do think they know what to put in as conditions, but they might just put the finance and the building report in, but they miss the title and the limb.
This is a great point as well, and I just want to raise this now. Cash offers.
Yes.
Let's actually talk about this because
So
as real estate agents,
industry slang compared to actual cash offers.
to what an actual cash offer is. Because
fantastic.
as an agent, many a times, and I mean, we're doing a deal a day at the moment as real estate agents, which
it
is
is.
a
It's
lot of
flying
deals going through. And so I can solemnly say that there is an indiscrepancy in the marketplace at the moment between what a cash offer is
Yes.
and what an actual cash offer is. Because we're talking dollars and cents, aren't we? Tell me what a cash offer is.
Well, there's no actual terminology for to explain that as well. So you've got someone who says, I want to put in a cash offer.
Yeah.
As a purchaser outside the real estate industry, you may think that you don't have a house to sell and you've got your finance approved, but you're still going to put in those four conditions we talked about, finance, builders, limb, title.
Correct.
You think you're a cash buyer.
Correct.
A real estate agent will not think you're a cash buyer.
No.
They'll think you're a highly conditional buyer.
And that's
Okay?
right.
So what you need to be saying, or what agents need to be saying, this is why I always talk to my purchasers about as well, is that are you an unconditional buyer?
Thank you.
Yeah, so
terminology.
Get rid of the cash, because that's what we're here to do today as well, is break down those slangs and
Well, that's right.
property
The purpose
things.
of the show. This episode,
So
I should say.
it's just being an unconditional buyer.
Yeah.
That means no conditions, but we're actually telling you to be a conditional buyer.
Yes.
But yeah, you could get it into a little bit of confusion there with agents if you are saying that you're a cash buyer.
Well, I mean, and look, I'll use an example of that. A couple of weeks ago, I had someone call me up and they said, look, hey, we've just sold our house. They've obviously got a pre-approval. They said, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cash offer, so to speak. It's a cash offer.
Yeah.
And then immediately there was a builder's report and a title search and other conditions in there. So that's what we're saying is that's not a cash position, so to speak, or an unconditional position. To be truly cash is basically whatever you put down on the paper, no further terms of sale. Hey, we just want to get it done. We want to put the sold sign up today.
Yeah, definitely. And I think probably the next point there will go to, Chip, is so you put it in those conditions and you take it to the owner, the agent takes it. I'll leave everyone up to do their own negotiating, okay? I'm not going to be here to tell you how to negotiate.
We're not going to start giving advice on negotiation.
No. So your offer gets accepted. Fantastic. You've got your house under offer for $500. You have your four conditions.
Yeah.
You need a lawyer. Okay.
That's also another... So take that back to the start. I go to the bank. Should I also be talking to a lawyer at that stage? Or do I talk to a lawyer after the pre-approval? Or
You need
do
to
I
get a
wait
lawyer-
until I get it
You need a lawyer
under offer?
before you put a property under offer.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you need to have a chat to them, and you need to make sure that you're comfortable with them as well. Because you're going to be talking to them about the biggest purchase of your life so far.
Correct.
And you want to trust them. We talk about the word trust again. But you need to be talking to them, trust them, and getting good advice from them as well. You don't want a lawyer who doesn't want to talk to you on the phone or doesn't reply to your emails or is very old school now.
Should you shop around for lawyers like you shop around for
definitely
brokers?
maybe ask them two questions like, do they have a fax machine?
That's always the fax was a very, very advanced technological piece of machinery. back in
And
the
do
day.
you believe in email?
Bang.
If that's a yes or a no, then
Bang.
But the thing is as well, you'd have to, well, in my eyes anyway, you have to be a new age lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay, because otherwise you're not going to get any service from that lawyer.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience there, where
No, not
the fact that
never.
No.
I love lawyers.
Lawyers,
especially Paula Campbell, Gibson Sheet, brilliant lawyer.
I would like to just say, Paula Campbell from Gibson Sheet,
04.
Fantastic.
She can do conveyancing anyway. That's
Fantastic.
04 916 6454.
And
She's so good, I know her number off by heart.
Paula.campbell@gibsonsheet.com.
.com will go for.
Just give it a Google. Okay, so I've got my lawyer. I've got my my terms in. We're not going to talk about negotiating too much here today. But let's say, for example, back and forward, now we've got a deal. We've got a deal, the magic word.
Yeah.
Magic word, I should say, the old dealio.
Yeah.
And what do I do now?
I suppose the big thing that can come up, so your title search should be clean. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's hope that goes through. If it doesn't...
And we're not going to get too much into titles as well.
No, we're not. That's another...
Because that's a whole... That could be a whole other...
But let's talk about
together.
The full conditions. Title goes through. Your finance should go through. As you said, as we said, you should have pre-approval.
Yeah. But there will be criteria in that pre-approval, so just be careful.
Yeah, 100%. But that's why you need a good lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the main one is the building report and the limb, but we'll go to the building report. Say if there's some issues.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So say, for example, I get the builder to come around and he says, look, for the majority of it, no problems.
Yeah.
But this, and this came up.
Make sure you get a builder as well when you're looking at the house. The builder says, hey, there's a massive issue here. But
Yeah.
It's going to cost you $7,500.
Get it in dollar value, is what you're saying.
Dollar value, because then you know what you're dealing with. Every house has something wrong with it, even new builds.
Yeah,
And if they say it's a perfect house, it's not true.
Yeah.
Okay, so get a dollar value and then you can negotiate that dollar value.
Yeah.
And that's a really big thing to do, because you don't want a builder that just says, oh, moisture levels in one of the windows, don't buy the house, because that's not
Well,
right.
it's not really a major concern if you're buying
It's not
something
right,
that
as
was
long as
built
it's
in Batani
fixed, rectified. Okay?
100
There
years
is
ago.
some stuff that obviously will put you off buying the house completely.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to have that dollar value.
Yeah.
Okay, because what you can do, Chip, as well, is you can go back and you can negotiate that dollar value.
I think this is a very, very good point that you raise here, because a lot of people think that they get to that position and they get to the builder's report, and then something comes up and it's red flag on the play. Let's just quit now while we're ahead. But you can always negotiate.
You can always negotiate.
Or you can always go and, like you said, you get that dollar value. This is how much it's going to cost, you know, and then work the agent, so to speak. Get them to go back to the vendor and see if they can get anything, you know.
So you've negotiated your your five.
We're talking about after the builder's report.
After the builder's report, yeah. So you negotiated your $5,000 and $10,000 off. It has to go through the lawyers. You can negotiate that through the agents as well.
Yeah.
Just verbally first, and then put it through the lawyers. Very important in that conditional period, because you have like 5 working days to 10 working days to work that out. You put that through, that's accepted by the owner. Okay, so that condition's confirmed. Okay, so we talked about the title being fine, so that's confirmed. Your finance is fine, that's confirmed. So now you've got your building report confirmed. And say if there was something a little bit wrong with your limb report, we're not going to get into all the details.
No.
What could be wrong,
or otherwise we'll have nothing to talk about in the rest of season 1.
Yeah, exactly. So say if there was something wrong, and you might need to take 5 or 10,000 off. That goes through the lawyers. Okay, so you spent 500.
Yeah.
You're taking off 10 for the building report. Take off 10 for the limb report. You're down at 480. The owner agrees, because they didn't know about these issues, of course, because everyone's honest in real estate.
That's also another good point as well.
Yeah.
And no, keep going. I'm going to come back to that soon.
Yeah. So then you go there and you're at 480, and then what we call in industry unconditional.
In industry.
Okay, out of the industry, we call that sold.
Yeah.
You bought your first house. You get some champagne. You celebrate. Yeah, you bought your first home.
And most of the time,
Fantastic.
an agent's going to give you some of that as well. Hey, a couple of things I want to just track back on.
Yeah.
Very, very good points here. You've gone down 10, you've gone down 20, and you're down at that 480. We're sold. We're good to go. You got 20 left. That 20 can also be used if you want to, or is it the bank's going to just
So
drop you back down?
yeah. So the banks, because they're going to be lending you. Say you got 10% or 20% deposit, they're going to be lending you the 80 or 90%.
Yeah.
So they're not going to give you that extra, unfortunately.
So if you agree on that price,
Yeah.
and that's done through the lawyers, when you get your mortgage papers,
Yeah.
that's going to be at that price.
And that's a
isn't
good point to bring up
Yeah.
there, Chip, as well, because I mean, obviously, probably the point that you're trying to bring up there is that you could negotiate for them to fix the problems
Correct.
as well.
Yeah.
Because if you were thinking, hey, the roof's completely gone, can't be, water be coming from a roof that's not going to be on.
Yeah.
You could get the owners to fix the roof instead. So you can
Because if you love
negotiate.
the property,
Exactly.
but hey, the roof needs to
A
be
lot of
fixed.
people let properties go just because they think there's big issues, when in reality there's actually not. You're buying $500,000, $10,000 or $20,000 is not a huge amount of money in the schemes of things.
And honestly as well, I mean, look, in terms of New Zealand, like you said before, unless you're buying a brand new house, and most of the suburbs that you're going to be looking at, you're going to be looking at anything between gosh, the house was built 100 years ago.
This one here is 100 years ago. It's coming up to its 100th birthday, actually. Might have to have a
Are we
party.
going to celebrate for that?
We definitely will be having a party. Maybe on the Friday show we could have a party about the 100th birthday for the 34 Bolton Street Petone.
I'll bring a cake.
You will.
What's your favourite flavour?
Vanilla.
Really?
Nah, banana and vanilla.
Banana and vanilla?
Yeah.
Together?
Yeah.
You put some chocolate in there?
I
Or
don't know. I'll
keep
give it
to
back
the
to cake chip.
On that note, Kaiser Brothers Brewery, how you going?
It's really nice. Tangerine Dream is very... Do you want to have it? Have a sip?
No, well, I will in a minute, but I just wanted straw golden wheat beer with classic German yeast esters, aromas of fruits, banana, cloves, and spices.
The next one here, we've got the English special bitter.
And then
the
we've
last
got
one, what do you got
we're looking at the pills. Oh, this is the exciting one.
I do love the quote on the back. Not that I condone the quote, but I do love it. Give me a woman who loves beer and I will conquer the world.
And that was made by Kaiser Wilhelm, the last king of Prussia.
Well, Prussia.
See, not just having a good drop, a top drop, but also learning in the process, which I find
Geography.
very nice. Geography, history. What I was saying is that a lot of houses are built, a long time ago. I mean, most of the hut, when you look at a lot of development, your 70s and the 60s and cross
You're going to have
leases,
things wrong. You're going to have things wrong.
there's going to be things wrong with a property.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be things wrong with a property.
So, I suppose the next thing you want to talk about there, Chip, is probably coming up to settlement. Because a lot of people think, hey, I bought the house, that's it.
That's right.
What actually happens? No one really knows. To tell you the truth, in the first 2 years of real estate, I didn't really know what happened after I sold a house. That's being honest. But now for the last 8, I have. Okay.
Oh.
In terms of the background, because I was never in that situation. I never went to the lawyers until I actually bought my first house. Okay, so you've gone unconditional, as we call it, or you're sold, so you bought the home.
Yeah.
What do you do then? What do you do, Chip?
Well, the other thing I think if we take it right back as well is talk about settlement. So when you're putting that offer forward, there is a date that you're going to say, right.
Yeah, what is settlement?
Well, what is settlement? Okay.
And what's possession? Is there a difference between possession and settlement?
Well, I mean, don't throw too many questions at me at one time. But what I want to talk about is, okay, you've gone unconditional. Okay, well, let's say you're putting in that offer. Now, one of the things you got to remember is that when you put in that offer, they're going to ask you for a date that you're going to transfer the balance of funds, so to speak.
Yes,
so you're going to pay a little deposit. Yep. Nice, usually 10%, whatever.
You pay 10% up front. And where does that go? So what happens is you pay that deposit. So we're talking about once you
Great point. What is the deposit? What
sold
is the
unconditional. So you get the deposit, 10%. That's paid to the agent who normally holds it in the New Zealand Real Estate Trust. Okay, if they're a new age company.
Why do they hold that?
What's that?
Why
Just in case there's any disputes between parties.
So that's a great point, because I get asked that question a lot as an agent. Why do you need a deposit? And the deposit is there so that if any disputes arise within that time between it going unconditional and of course the settlement date, there's money there to be.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So you do the deposit. Okay, so that goes in and then they hold that for 10 working days.
Yes.
Then it gets dispersed to the vendor's lawyer.
Yes.
Okay. So from there though, what happens?
Settlement. We're working towards settlement.
Okay,
we're talking about ownership, Dave.
Yeah,
we're talking about before when you said the champagne, the removal of the.
Oh, exactly.
sign.
So you're normally between about 4 to 6 weeks as a standard settlement date. So
Because that was actually not to interrupt. Sorry, but that is a good question. I'm buying the house. What should I put? What's a good time?
Probably about 4 to 6.
Because if you are renting, you've got to give notice.
You do have to give notice,
depending on what the terms are of your lease.
I think the easiest thing to do is just ask the real estate agent or the private seller. Could be a private seller, and just ask them how.
Not that we
long-
condone private sales.
No, we don't.
Anyway, that's
but yeah, it's just important to ask them when is the preferred settlement date for the owner, because that's what matters. You're trying to make your offer as best. We're not talking about negotiating though, so we'll move on.
No.
Okay, so we're going to.
But you're a natural negotiator, and I like that. You've gone into that.
Yeah, but we're leading up to settlement date.
Yep.
Okay, so it's important to recognise that you have a pre-settlement inspection.
Fantastic.
And Chip, you want to answer what that is?
Well, what it is, a pre-settlement inspection is the day or 2 days or the week leading up before that settlement when you're going to transfer basically probably the biggest loan you're going to take out in your life. It's a lot of money. We're talking $500,000. You want to go back and you want to go through the property with the agent and you want to ensure that that property is in the same condition it was in when you put that offer in.
Fantastic. So it's like from your eyes,
yes,
what you saw, what
when
you
put
bought,
that offer in.
and what it is now.
And I mean specific to if it was a rental, for example, and those tenants have vacated. If those tenants left holes in the walls, or if the pipes were busted, you want to go back to your lawyer and you want to say,
same
lawyer,
negotiation process.
You want to say, Paula Campbell from Gibson Sheep.
Yep.
I'm not happy.
Yeah, and it'll be the same negotiation process as the building report.
As the building report.
Exactly, because you still haven't settled in full.
That's
you
right.
have bought the house, but it's still the same thing. You can hold funds back as well in that situation, just to make sure that you get the home that you wanted.
I think it's an important issue that you raise as well around settlement, because not a lot of people, I shouldn't say that, but it has been known that people take settlement for granted.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you settle, and then as an agent, I get, people calling me up and saying, oh, the drains are burst, or this has happened, or something like that. Go do that pre-settlement inspection.
Yep.
Make sure, that everything lines up and you're happy with it.
Yep.
And then go through with the process.
Yeah, so after that time as well, you're happy. You can either do this before or after the pre-settlement inspection. So what happens is you go to your lawyer,
yes,
okay, and you sign the loan documents.
Yes.
Sign your life away.
I bet you've signed some loan documents.
Sign some loan documents, yep, a lot of the loan documents. And your lawyer will take you through exactly how much you are borrowing and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
We're not going to go into those documents right now.
Yeah.
So you sign them, then the next day probably, or the next day after that, because
Yes.
it's quite close to that time, unless you're going overseas, you can sign them whenever you want.
Yeah.
But the bank normally sends them through then.
Yeah.
You're going to be waiting for settlement,
Yeah.
okay? And not to go over this part too fast, but I don't want to keep lingering on because I know
For
it's
sure.
a very long conversation about
Yeah.
how to buy a house. Some people think it's a very easy process.
Correct.
But you go in, you sign the loan documents, and then a couple of days later you settle. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing to remember as well is until the owner's lawyer. Okay, so the owner's lawyer receives the funds and sends the agent a fax to say
Yes.
they can release the keys. You
Yeah.
cannot get your keys.
Correct.
Okay, so sometimes as a purchaser, you're waiting there, you want to get into
You
your
want
house,
to get
you
in
want to have the
house.
champagne.
You want to get in the house.
You bought a house. You're a
You
happy
want
house.
to paint
Yeah,
the
bought a
walls,
house.
mate.
Yeah,
You want to
yeah,
get in
yeah.
there. I want to put up some new wallpaper. I want to
Oh,
renovate.
no,
I
you're
want to get
excited.
rid of that kitchen.
You're excited, and that goes through.
Horrible kitchen.
Okay, and that happens. It goes through, and then guess what?
You could do.
You just bought a house.
You just bought your first
Fantastic.
house. So from
Fantastic.
start to finish,
That's
I've
it.
got my pre-approval. I've gone on Trade Me. I've looked at the location. I've found the house. I've done a second inspection.
Yep.
I've then put my offer forward with those conditions. The builders, the limb, the title, the finance. They're all approved. The right lawyer has given me the advice. I've got a great agent like someone like yourself or myself, and they're going to take me through. And then I come to settlement day. I do the pre-settlement inspection the day before.
Yep.
I love the house. Everything's fine. Give the lawyer the okay. Here's the tick. Tick a couple boxes. Sign your life away, and move into your brand new home.
Easy as that.
There
Done.
you go.
Done. Fantastic.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Mate, I want to thank you for episode 2. It's been a fantastic episode.
It has been fantastic.
And just to also just give those shout outs again to your mum for number 1
Yep,
fan.
first one.
Paula Campbell from Gibson
Fantastic.
Sheep.
Habit house inspection.
Habit House Inspections as
Mark
well.
Cook, Home Loan Shop.
Well, we didn't actually shout him out this week, but what I would like to do is...
And the biggest one, the Kaiser Brothers Brewery.
The biggest one has to be the Kaiser Brothers Brewery. I'm looking forward to getting into this.
Do you know what I'm really looking forward to though, Chip? Is
What's that,
next week is really getting into the nitty gritty about some really decent details.
We're
in terms
talking
of property
making money in property.
investing.
Cash money.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
A little bit of this. And I will. I'll see you there on episode 3 of The Friday Shout. Beautiful.